Island hopping, facts you may not know about Barbados. Barbados, an Atlantic island in the West Indies, is situated in the Caribbean archipelago of the Lesser Antilles, and lies directly east of the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Barbados recently was an independent state and Commonwealth realm with Queen Elizabeth as head of state, until transitioning to a unitary parliamentary republic within the Commonwealth, on November 30, 2021. Barbados was inhabited by Amerindians called the Saladoid Baroncoid, with Arawak peoples from South America later forming settlements there, and followed by the Kalinago Caribs who began visiting the island from the 13th century, until Spanish navigators claimed possession of the island in the late 15th century. The first Europeans to arrive on Barbados were the Portuguese who claimed the island, but abandoned it in the 1600s, leaving behind the remnants of wild boars that were introduced to the island, and that provided a source of meat for visitors. The first settlers from England to the island of Barbados arrived there in the early 1600s, with the West Indies attracting more than two-thirds of the English immigrants to the Americas, the settlers claiming the island in the name of King James I, and Barbados later becoming a British colony. The cultivation of cotton, indigo, ginger and tobacco was done primarily with European indentured labor, until the start of sugar production and the heavy reliance on the labor of imported African slaves, who worked on plantations throughout the island, with the slave trade continuing until it was outlawed by the Slave Trade Act in the early 1800s, and the final emancipation of slaves in Barbados taking place over a 5-year period, following the Slavery Abolition Act in the near mid-1800s. Most of the English who arrived on the island of Barbados were indentured laborers, and consisted of prisoners of war and vagrants, with Irish arrivals who were either vagrants or were illicitly kidnapped, and brought to the island, and other islands in the Caribbean, by English merchants, where they were sold as servants. Then after 5 years of labor, they were given freedom dues, and between 5 to 10 acres of land, until all the free land in Barbados was distributed. Sugar cane from Dutch Brazil helped to develop the economy of Barbados, changed the ethnic composition of the island, and the ethnic composition of surrounding islands, with Barbados eventually coming to boast of one of the largest sugar industries worldwide, all of which was chiefly successful due to a group of people that had been expelled from the Iberian Peninsula, and ended up in Dutch Brazil, supplying Barbados with equipment, financing, and African slaves. The large sugar plantations bought out English smallholders, and large plantations were worked by African slaves. Then as the slave population grew, many smallholders passed on or migrated to Jamaica or the American colonies such as North and South Carolina. As a result, Barbados put in place a slave code, which was an act for the better ordering and governing of Negroes, and which text helped influence laws in other colonies. Harsh conditions were endured by slaves, and several planned rebellions met with brutality of repression. This strengthened the movement for abolition, which finally led to the abolition of slavery. Barbados is chiefly flat, with its highest point being just over 1,000 feet above sea level, and with its composition mainly of coral. The erosion of limestone caused the formation of caves and gullies on the island. Barbados is home to 4 species of nesting turtles, and the green monkey that is found in West Africa, and which crossed the Atlantic on trade slave ships to islands in the West Indies. Barbadians are chiefly of African descent, and are called Bajans. They are of Afro-Caribbean, or Afro-Bajans, and mixed ancestry, with Europeans known as Anglo-Bajans or Euro-Bajans, with origins from the United Kingdom, Ireland, Italy, and Germany. There are also the French, Austrians, Spaniards, Russians, and Asians, from Hong Kong and India living on the island, and the Bajan Yankee, a term not accepted by everyone, referring to groups from the USA and Canada, returning to live on Barbados. The official language of Barbados is English, with the Bajan Creole spoken by the majority of Barbadians. Barbados has a mixed economy and a moderate to high standard of living, owing to its diversification to manufacturing, offshore finance and information services, foreign exchange earnings, and its tourist industry. There is one main hospital on Barbados with 8 polyclinics, and several medical care centers. The literacy rate on the island of Barbados is 100%, education is compulsory, and there are numerous public and private learning institutions, including colleges, universities, and specialized schools. Culture on Barbados consists of British, Portuguese, Creole, West African, and Indian, with the Crop Over Festival drawing visitors from the international community, who travel to the island annually, to take part in the festive events. Food on the island consists of Creole, Asian, African, British, and Indian cuisine, with the national dish being cuckoo and flying fish, and other traditional dishes such as pudding and souse. Music on Barbados reflects the culture of the island, with a mixture of African and British styles in song, dance, folk, pop, religious, classical, calypso, spooge, contemporary folk, and other traditional elements. Sports on the island include horse racing, track and field, rugby, basketball, tennis, volleyball, cricket, motorsports, windsurfing, and netball. Transportation on Barbados includes route taxis, bus systems, shuttles to some hotels, and vehicle rental. Barbados has one international airport that provides service to the international community. The currency used on the island is the Barbados dollar, BBD or BDS dollar. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, God bless.